And we're back here in AR Light Season, and we've come across an extremely annoying team. I hate and love the way this guy set up his defense team, because it's super duper difficult to play into, so we'll go over them real quick. We have a +3 Yoon running Chill Attack and base kit with Wings of Mercy. We have a Hashida Micaiah here running pretty much base kit plus instant Luna. We have a duo Alphonse with instant Open the Future and distant defense. We have a +5 Bike running IP with 2-turn cooldown Ignis, and then we have a +1 Sylvia with the IP setup and Barrier Blade, Chill Speed, and a New Year's Lethe. I think this is like the second game this week that's had a New Year's Lethe in it, so yeah, this unit's crazy. This unit combined with these two being on opposite sides of the map is what's been giving me so much trouble here. On their own, like if Lethe wasn't here, then this side of the map isn't really a problem. But since she is here, and I don't double her with Pala even when fully buffed and Peony supported, we kind of have a problem, because she doubles me, she does a lot of damage. It's like 14 true damage plus lull speed defense plus like all this extra attack and shit, like ridiculous stuff. And then if I do deal with her first, and then it's like say I go up this side with what's her face, with like a Versa or something and bait out here to kill, then I think Alphonse gets danced while his special's still up, and then someone dies probably. So just really annoying because of the double dances and because of these units. There's basically this unit and this unit who are just so strong that even when unmerged, they are super duper big threats to my team. But I've come up with what I hope is a good enough strat to deal with them. I think everything will work out just fine. From what I saw, like planning this out, it's going to take a few turns to do all the setup. It is definitely going to take a few turns to do all the setup. But that's fine, because we are going to get the healing tower right here, right now. So it's okay that it's going to take us a little bit of extra time, I think. What we need to do is we need to get the pot in the top right, because I think everything is going to end on one turn here, and we do a good bit of damage to Lethe. I think it's like it's 14 to 18, and that's about all we need. But first we need to get the pot. The next thing we need to do is get Pala situated.
Certainly.
So we'll probably have a Versa here. I might not be able to get my defense buffs onto Pala, unfortunately. Actually, now that I think about it, I kind of need air over here. I kind of need air. Oh, that's something I didn't really think about. My idea was that I would be here, dance, Reaper air out of the way, and Reaper Peony out of the way, sorry, then smite onto the trap. But you know what? This might not actually be a huge problem, because I could probably just go for Micaiah first. So as long as I go up far enough, like if I'm up here and I dance from here, I can go up and hit Micaiah, which still gets rid of the IP on Fonz. So I think that's actually okay. Yes. It's not quite exactly what I wanted to do, but I don't think Ike does much damage to me anyway, so I don't really think it matters. And it also stops him from getting his Ignis off potentially if he lives. So I think this is okay, actually. I think this is okay. There will be no healing, of course, as well. I don't think there's any defensive debuffs, so I think this is fine anyway. It means I'll be getting +3 to my defensive stats instead of +6, but hopefully that doesn't make the difference. It's the offensive ones that I think are more important. So next turn, we should be able to go ahead and get started here, so it didn't actually take quite as long as I thought it would. We need to go ahead and hit Lethe, because otherwise we don't kill her in one hit. Yeah, so I suppose we'll go ahead and do that first. I think I'm just going to double check my calcs and everything. Assuming that she has not been hit before, brings her down to 28. Okay, that is not exactly what my calcs showed would happen. So I am actually a little bit concerned. Why? Oh, I know why that's happening. Never mind. Okay, so now my calcs are showing the right damage, and it does do 14 damage, which is what I assumed. For some reason, my calcs were showing that I was doing more damage, but I made the mistake, and I was keeping the defense debuff onto Lethe before she'd even taken any damage. But after she has the 7 debuff, and she's taken 14 damage from air, which is how much she does, she then should still die even if she initiates. So yeah, okay, I think everything's fine. Fine. No need for panic, no need for concern. Pretty sure everything is fine. So we're going to go ahead and initiate on the Lethe. I think this match is going to end in pretty much this turn if everything goes right. So she's now pretty debuffed. We go up here, we dance.
Here we go.
Looks like we do get that kill. We're gonna go ahead. We could definitely kill Ike, but we're gonna go ahead and kill the Micaiah. Still gets rid of the open the future on Alphonse, which is really the point of this. So we'll go ahead and do that. Goodbye, Mickey. And then we get Peony out of there, and I guess we could get Air out of there as well. No reason not to, I suppose.
Who dies first?
So yeah, let's move her out, and cross your fingers! I think everything ends on this turn. So cross your fingers and hope for not a rip. Hope that Pala just kills everything. Bada bing. 48 damage, jeez, that's a lot of damage. So that looks good. Ike will go ahead and do basically nothing.
Shall we?
Shall we? We shall indeed. I wonder if Fonz dies, because he is panicked with his... It looks like he probably does. Nice. Yeah, Fonz was panicked with his rouse buff, so that's why he's gonna be taking a lot of damage from this. Ting.
Shall we?
God, is there a better sound than the ting ting? I love it. And here comes Fonz. 3 damage from Fonz. Wow. That is the power of Pegasus Flight, my friends. Actually, you know, on that, I don't think I ever... Did I ever tell you guys that I swapped to Pegasus Flight on my Pala? I feel like that's one of the things that happened during my little hiatus where I wasn't making videos, so I might just go over that real quick. But yeah, that's going to be the end of today's match, that's for damn sure. Everything went exactly as I hoped it would. But we'll check out my Pala real quick. I actually made the swap to Pegasus Flight instead of Vantage. Correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think I've talked about this before. I think this happened during my hiatus, so if I have talked about it before and I'm just going to bore you now, then my bad. You can just skip ahead, I guess. But I'm going to talk about it now. So originally she was running Vantage as a forward tank kind of thing, so the idea would be that even if she got brought down to low health, ideally against like squishier mages and such, she could just kill them from Vantage. But I got pretty broken by a Fiora recently, a regular Fiora, and I decided, you know what? Pegasus Flight honestly sounds pretty freaking good for a forward tank, and she has the stats for it. I mean, Peony and Air both provide exactly the stats that I need to activate the skill, and the best part about it is that it's a at the start of combat skill, so it doesn't care about things like lulls and Bramimon's impenetrable dark and stuff like that. It does still factor in your visible buffs, even if the enemy has a lull or other buff denial type skill. So that's a pretty cool thing about Pegasus Flight, and the ability to take 7 less damage and do 7 more damage is actually really good. Pegasus Flight is the difference between being able to 1-round KO Bramimond on player phase versus falling just short, is what I've noticed. And just in general, like you saw in that match, we probably would have actually taken some damage from a few of those units if we didn't have this skill enabled. Alphonse, for example, would have done 10 damage as opposed to 3, and the rest might have done a little bit. Obviously that team wasn't super merged up, but the skill was even active against Lethe, so Lethe would have actually done quite a bit more damage if she had doubled me, and this skill wasn't active. So it's honestly worked out pretty well so far, and the reason I decided to inherit it instead of Vantage is because I was paying attention to my matches even before I had it, and thinking to myself, you know what, Vantage didn't really do much here. Vantage really didn't come into play at all, and so having the -7 attack on enemies might have actually been a lot more useful. And generally speaking, that has been the case. It's honestly been pretty good. I think it's still a niche skill, and it's definitely not really worth pulling for a Fiora just to feed it to your forward tank who happens to be a flyer. But it's not a bad skill either. I mean, if it activates completely, and it's not that hard during light season to have it activate completely, -7 attack and -7 defense on the enemy is really, really strong. It is a really, really strong option once it's opened, and one of the best B slots that flyer tanks can currently get. Guard, what is it called? Guard stance or something like that. Alert stance that Summer Ingrid currently has. Kind of looks like it'd be okay on a forward flyer tank, but the fact that it only works once per enemy phase kind of ruins it. So this is probably one of the best B slot options that flyers currently have, so I made the swap. And I'm also using Aversa again. I kind of flip-flop between using Aversa and using a second peony on the Ballad team, but I think being able to soak Chill Attack and Chill Speed and Bright Shrine is a lot more valuable than the extra stats that a second peony gives. So that's pretty much my my explanation there. It's just way more useful to soak those shrines and soak those chills, as we saw in this particular example, because the enemy had Chill Attack and Chill Speed. So yeah, that's my explanation for the little bit of switcheroo on skills that I've done for light season for this particular team. Enough of that now though. We have, I think, one defense replay to show you, and that is actually a rematch from the guy yesterday with the Python and the +10 Felicia. He actually rematched me and lost, so he also lost 1 unit, and he decided to be a good guy and surrender. Not that it really mattered, because live loss and all that, but I guess he wanted a perfect week, and I can't blame him. So we'll go ahead and look at this one real quick. Obviously we'll turn off animations, as we always do. Let's go ahead and do that. Alright, so he actually brought his Python and his Felicia to offense, which is interesting. I guess they are light blessed, and Python is his summoner support. I would have thought it'd be Felicia, but nope, Python is definitely this guy's summoner support. He's also bringing Lucina, who, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't really think Lucina works with these guys particularly well. I guess, does she support daggers? She does, so I guess she works with Felicia for Glacies. It's kind of interesting. One light mythic is kind of oof though. And support Silk with Shield Session 3, which is also very interesting. Haven't seen that before, but anyway. This guy is going to learn a harsh lesson this day, which is attacking a red flyable with a green archer is not going to go very well, unfortunately for this guy. Gonna go ahead and get a ruse off as well. The Lucina has a ruse, it looks like. But yeah, with the bolt tower going off here, he's gonna try to do something with the ruse, and he's gonna do 0 damage. So essentially all this accomplished was activating the map, which is something, I guess. But unfortunately, his Python's going to die to Yoon. Yeah, it's rough like that sometimes. That's what happens when you're a fire sweep. But yeah, unfortunately he was pretty much cornered at that point, couldn't really get away, and he's going to surrender right away. So good guy 80, he actually sent me a friend request as well, which I decided to accept because I like his Python, man. I like the way this guy operates. I like his mojo. But anyway, that is going to be the end of today's match and end of today's replays. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next game. Until then.